Here at the watershed, we embrace science as a critical part of protecting the environment, and we believe that scientists really have an obligation to deploy the tools of science in the protection of the environment. So scientists play a role in standing up, speaking truth to power. We have a crew of scientists who explore the area looking out for pollution and causes to environmental degradation, and then they design strategies to try to reverse these declines and strategies to try to preserve what's already a clean and healthy environment.
So what we're doing today is just checking. We have to do regular maintenance on the sensors and the data logger station. If it's working, then we have good data and can use that to affect policy, which ultimately is going to affect how humans impact nature. So the interesting thing about this site that we didn't even know about until I was looking for a place to place this sensor is that a pipeline comes across the Delaware River right through this culvert and has become exposed from erosion and is corroding and coming apart. When you look way upstream of here at the macroorganisms, which are the strongest long-term indicator of stream health, it's much better than it is right here. I mean, this is essentially barren. There's basically no life right where the pipeline is.
This is an organization that requires the engagement of thousands and thousands of people. Sonia Michaluk is a great example of a volunteer scientist who has dedicated her young life to understanding the environment and to working to protect it.
I've always just been fascinated with the body of water. It's really amazing how much life really depends on it, how much life lives in it, and how much life is taken for granted that lives in it. From what I've done so far on this site, I've noticed it's overall healthier than other sites I have sampled in the past. When there's infrastructure being in progress, there's usually turbidity spikes. And one of the downsides to this is all of this silt that's right now suspended in the water, it's going to sink down into this gravel here. And this gravel makes the ideal habitat for a lot of organisms. Also, there's a lot of threatened and endangered species that are being affected by this, because if they don't have the proper ecosystem to breed in which to live in, then they're going to die out.
The Penn East Pipeline would damage some of New Jersey's most fragile environments, ripping through pristine streams, carving up forests and wetlands and habitat for endangered species. And it would expose thousands of residents of our state to contamination of their drinking water supplies. This would cut through areas that were supposedly preserved for open space and farmland, breaking a promise to the people of New Jersey. And it would take private property for their use through eminent domain for a project that we don't need and we don't want. There is some good news, however. The state of New Jersey can stand up and reject this pipeline. So we're hopeful that the state will step up, our government leaders in the state will step up and say no and reject this thing for once and for all. Coal mining and combustion, oil and gas exploration and drilling and pipelines to transport these fuels. These fuels threaten our very existence through climate change. This is an urgent time. We've got to draw the line against additional fossil fuel infrastructure. The time to stop is now, and the time to fully embrace renewable energy is now.